Most people don't read Psalm 91 until something is already wrong. A hospital room, a phone call at night, a season where sleep disappears. Psalm 91 doesn't talk about fear, it talks to fear. And that's why, for centuries, people have turned to this psalm when everything else feels fragile. Stay with me, because by the end, you'll understand why Psalm 91 feels less like poetry and more like a shelter you can step into. Where protection begins. Psalm 91:1. He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. This psalm opens with a location, not a promise. Protection starts with where you choose to dwell. The secret place is not hiding from the world, it's living with God as your first refuge, not your last option. When life feels exposed and unsafe, Psalm 91 doesn't promise the world will be gentle, it promises God will be near, close enough to cast a shadow over you. This verse pulls us in because it reframes protection as relationship, not luck. Speaking faith while fear is loud. Psalm 91:2. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress. Notice the choice of words, I will say. Faith here is not a feeling, it's a decision spoken out loud when fear is shouting. In crisis, silence feeds anxiety. Psalm 91 teaches us to speak before panic takes over. This is why people recite it during emergencies, not because it sounds poetic, but because it stabilizes the heart. Surely He shall deliver you. Psalm 91:3-6. Protection from what you can't see. From the snare of the fowler, from the deadly pestilence, the terror by night, the arrow during the day. Psalm 91 names invisible threats, traps, disease, fear at night, anxiety during the day. This psalm was written long before modern medicine, yet it speaks directly to modern fear. Some dangers don't announce themselves. Anxiety, sickness, betrayal, sudden loss. Psalm 91 acknowledges that fear is often unseen, and that's exactly where God's protection works. 1,000 may fall at your side. Why this psalm feels controversial. 1,000 may fall at your side, but it shall not come near you. This verse is not about superiority, it's about trust in chaos. Psalm 91 doesn't say others won't suffer, it says fear doesn't get the final word over you. This verse comforts people standing in the middle of disasters, wars, pandemics, or personal breakdowns, not because they feel immune, but because they feel held. He shall give His angels charge over you. Unseen help in visible danger. Angels here are not decorations, they are reminders that you are never as alone as you feel. When everything feels heavy and slow, Psalm 91 reminds us that help doesn't always arrive in ways we recognize. Sometimes protection looks like delay, redirection, or survival against odds. You shall tread upon the lion and the serpent, strength in the middle of fear. This verse doesn't remove danger, it gives authority over it. Fear doesn't disappear instantly, but Psalm 91 reframes the believer not as a victim, but as someone who walks forward even while afraid. This is where hope begins to rise. God speaks directly. Psalm 91:14-16. Why Psalm 91 feels personal. This is the turning point. God speaks in first person. Because He has set His love upon me, I will be with Him in trouble. God doesn't promise a trouble-free life. He promises His presence inside the trouble. This is why Psalm 91 has carried soldiers, patients, refugees, and grieving families. It ends not with escape, but with companionship. Why Psalm 91 is considered the best psalm for protection. It acknowledges fear instead of denying it. It speaks to invisible threats we actually face. It promises presence, not perfection. It invites relationship, not superstition. It ends with God speaking directly to the reader. Psalm 91 doesn't say nothing bad will happen. It says you won't face anything alone. That's why people return to it in every generation. If you're watching this in a season where life feels unsafe, Psalm 91 isn't a magic shield, it's a shelter. And shelters aren't meant to be admired from a distance. They're meant to be entered. If this psalm spoke to you, stay with this channel. There are more scriptures that don't just explain faith, they hold you when faith feels tired.